So we have to do the discussions. My guest for the morning, the Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso West Wagon constituency, is in the studio. Emmanuel Chairmanting Ejakon is here. Good morning to you. Mr. Chairmanting Ejakon, good morning.
Good morning.
I saw you fight on TV the other day, but that's okay.
Fighting, but that is unlike.
Well, not really like a fight.
Maybe you were just making his point strongly.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had exchanges, strong.
But this is something that happened
on the show
over a year ago.
Oh, really? Then somebody brought stuff for mischief. Yeah. And then Judge Lowe.
But it's okay.
Judge Lowe is a legal practitioner, but also a former member of Parliament for North Dying. Judge Lowe is also contesting for the secretaryship for the NDC Volta region. I believe I'm right. The position of secretary, NDC Volta region. Judge Lowe.
Yeah, Roland.
Yeah, right, Judge. All right. So let's do some discussions, and I have to start off with. We have a video of Duncan Williams. We'll play that video to you shortly, and you'll get to know what we're talking about. Duncan Williams, according to what the story is, Duncan Williams blasts critics of water bill, and he says Archbishop Duncan Williams upset follows his upset, and it follows a call by the Christian Council of Ghana for the prosecution of persons who play various roles in the collapse of the 7 local banks, including the Defunct Capital Bank, which Pastor Mensa Otebel was his board chairman. We have that video ready, so we'll play that video to you and then we'll come back.
With Dr. Mensa Otebel, I want to caution every Christian: shut your mouth. Number 2, the Bible says, judge not that you may not be judged. So shut your mouth. Stop talking about things you don't understand. Somebody asks me, what do you think? I say, I don't think anything. I don't understand. I don't know the details. So let the authorities handle the situation. Don't talk. You talk too much. Christians, you talk too much. Now I'm saying that to Christians. As for unbelievers and the heathens, they have the right to talk. Their day will come. But for us Christians, we are under God's constitution. We do not judge, and we don't judge our own. Let the world talk and let the world judge, but you don't join the world to crucify your brother. That's all I'll tell you. Lift up your hands. Lift up your hands. Father, we do not rejoice at the head of any one of your children. We commit the whole situation into your care, and we pray for those handling the situation that they will handle.
Oh, we've prayed for the city before. I remember it was on the downward spiral. Mr. Lowe, the comments on this, because we know alongside at least 1,700 workers now will be going home. 700 of Beige Bank. They had been working as mobile money casual vendors, so to speak. They had various commissions that they had to take based on certain targets that they're supposed to meet and all.
Well, good morning. Good morning to my senior brother, Honorable Jaku. Good morning to our cherished viewers, and good morning to my compatriots in the Volta region, whom I want to serve as secretary. I just want to remind them that
Volta region, what?
Regional secretary.
Of what? I mean,
of the NDC.
Yeah, go on to see. I mean, you are assuming
why anyway, on the NDC.
Yeah.
It's obvious. It's obvious. The MPP have selected their candidate already, so obviously the NDC who will be going to anyway. So I want to remind them that on Saturday, Judge Lowe is the man.
The event is on Saturday.
Yes, God willing. Roland, I wish I could just take the admonition of Pastor Duncan Williams and say that, well, I'm a Christian. I profess Christianity, so I should shut up. But you see, I think that when issues come up, we must take the bull by the horn. We must call a spade a spade. Nobody is being judgmental in this matter. I think the call is simple, that anybody found culpable in this matter, the law should take its own course. The normal course that would have taken if any other Tom, Dick, or Harry had been caught in this. You see, people have come out with explanations, and he's right. He said the authorities are taking the action, we should leave them. But it doesn't also mean that we cannot interrogate the things that happen. There are facts that are in the public domain. There are laws that regulate the industry. Every lettered person can read those laws and come to some conclusion. And I think that Reverend Otabil himself had said that, yes, they made decisions. Some were right, some were wrong. Okay? Those decisions have led to certain things. They are talking about 1,700 people going home as a result of some of the decisions that have been made by the board and management of some of these banks. So clearly there is a social issue to be spoken about. This is not a Christian issue. It's a social matter. Because you see, when these banks go down and people, if anybody who loses money or loses a job, those who are losing jobs are your ordinary people. They may be Christians, they may not. So I believe that it is also fair when people make comments, you know, when people are able or try to interrogate the issues as to why we are where we are. I don't think that is palatable for all of us. In a country where we have this difficulty, to invest 8 billion cedis into this crisis. As you would have known, this morning the IMF, you know, was saying that it was going to add on to our public debt. So Ghana as a whole has a problem. It's not a Christian problem. It's a Ghana problem. And therefore everybody has a role to play in arriving at a solution. So never again should we be going on this route where you wake up one morning and all your hopes are dashed because the bank that you think you've put your investment and things like that is going down. Your brother or your sister is going to lose your job. Your father or mother, you know, it has a lot of social implications for us. So I think that, yes, we will not judge people because the process is, even in the secular world, there is a court that pronounces judgment. Okay? But it doesn't also stop us from talking about issues. In fact, Christians are the lights of the world. And as lights of the world, we should lead the crusade, you know, for the right thing to be done. Where a Christian brother even goes wrong, the church has mechanism to deal with it. But I'm saying that this is not purely a church issue where you say leave it to the church to deal with. This is a social issue. And so the laws of the land will take its course. Nobody has said that Reverend, what is it called? Otabil must go to jail because he's done wrong. We are saying that let the law take its course. There's a law, the regulatory framework. Did he do right? Did he deliberately do something that led people into... If that is the case, as would have happened to you and I, you know, let the law take its course. It is not about a Christian being judgmental, but these are social issues that every Ghanaian has a duty to speak to. Every Ghanaian has a duty to contribute to the solution, to find a lasting solution to the kind of things that are happening in our banking sector. I don't believe that anybody wants to wake up and get the kind of information we got on that day that 5 banks have gone down. I mean, I think that it is not palatable for anybody. So I want us to understand that we are not, nobody is judging. It's not a Christian problem. It's a social problem, and we owe it to ourselves as a people to ensure that we get to the root of the matter.
How do people feel or would feel conflicted, Mr. Boache-Jakon, when it comes to the issue of...
I'm not Boache-Jakon.
Mr. Chairman Tinge Jakon, sorry. Looking at the personalities involved, does it then make it difficult for perhaps the social commentary and the media commentary thereof to not be made in an atmosphere that is consonant with what the rights and freedoms as granted by our constitution, etc.?
Well, thank you for having me on this platform. Good morning to you, George.
Good morning.
And I wish you well in your elections on Saturday.
No worry, we'll discuss about
God
the
is
NDC,
good.
so we'll discuss about him.
God is
to you,
good.
and to you.
God is in control.
I think that we must place what Archbishop Duncan Williams said in context. He's at church. He's not at a social gathering. He's preaching the gospel, and he's quoting the Bible. I think he was emphatic and said that leave it for those who know. Some of you don't know. Me, I don't know the details, so I don't comment. I am not judgmental. Indeed, even the secular law, is that how you say it? Yeah. Not the canon like church,
canon,
but the secular law says that a man is not guilty until he is proven guilty. You can interrogate the issues, but you really cannot pass judgment. Nobody can pass judgment in all of these matters now. We see a situation where liquidity support has apparently been used for what it was not given out to be used for. I think one can comment on it. We see a situation where some transactions, round trip, they call it round tripping, has taken place. I think ordinarily one can comment on it, but I can completely agree with the Archbishop that let's leave judgments, number one, to God, and number two, to the secular authorities. This matter, willy-nilly, will end up where it must end. I have sat on this platform, I don't know whether on this platform, and say I feel indignant about some of the issues. I really and truly do. That today we have been saddled with an 8 billion and counting, 8 billion debt that we will have to pay in our lifetime, and our children and our children's children may have to pay some of these debts. Okay. Our debt stock has just gone up. And nobody can justify anything like this. If you are doing this to build railways, if you are doing this to build roads, if you are using this money, 2 billion, like how much we are
Struggling to get from China.
we are struggling to barter with China, almost the same amount. Okay.
The
there
one
must-
we're exchanging the
Yeah.
box size.
Yes, it's not exact. It's about 1.6 billion.
Yeah.
But a difference of 400 million. Okay. So I want to take the Archbishop's admonition and I say that it is within a certain context. Okay. I hope that the secular authorities will do the needful and bring a conclusion to this matter. It can't hang on forever. It really and truly can't hang on. I believe that in some jurisdictions, things like this have happened, and they acted expeditiously at it. I hope that we will do the same.
Do you
over
think?
the
Do you think
weekend-
we're acting slowly? Because knowing that
Over-
the report,
over
the
the
report,
weekend-
the
over
report,
the
as far as we're
weekend-
concerned,
over the
had
weekend-
been
over the
authored
weekend-
over a year now.
Over the weekend, I listened to a seminal, you can call him a seminal lawyer with it. And he was saying that let's not rush the Bank of Ghana, let's not rush. You don't want to do shoddy work and go to court and the court throws out something like this. I think that we must get to the bottom of this. I've always maintained that this is not a peculiar situation here. Issues of bank failure has happened even in a very regulated market like in the United States of America. In the UK, a couple of years ago, some of their top banks were in trouble. Royal, I think Scotland, Royal Bank of Scotland or something, Lloyd's Bank and all of this. They found a way to ensure the banks did not go down. On Saturday, I was hearing my classmate, Dr. Richmond, my classmate from Prempeh College, speak of Citibank, and that if they had allowed Citibank to go down, the whole of the American financial system was going to go down. I think government has done the needful, has done the necessary interventions. But we must go back and find out. You know, you are just talking about people are going to lose their jobs. Today is one of the papers, banner headlines.
The Business and Financial Times.
And you are the first person who said that...
the Daily Graphic.
I think that, I think, you see, I think these are some of the things we must begin to interrogate. Really and truly, I think some of the banks overstretched. 700 of them, according to you, I haven't read the story, were contract staff, you know, like go around and go and collect, what do you call it?
Susu and
they were like susu takers. Okay. We must even begin to ask some very serious questions. Does our labor law allow that kind of thing? I have heard TUC begin to talk about...
After 6 months, then you have to regularize.
Yeah. Can we begin to look into all of this?
Well, they have a way of doing after 6 months. I think
they terminate
it and then they reappoint.
You know...
So within the law, they are grounded.
Well, you know that everybody knows that you are breaking the law. You are using the law to break the law. But I think that going forward, these are issues we must really interrogate. Should we allow a bank to have 700 young graduates just out there doing... I mean, if you want to do this, does the law permit it? That's... I mean, I don't know what I'm not a lawyer. I'm quite limited in scope. But I'm saying that after the fact, we need to interrogate all the issues properly. Issues of employment, issues of salaries, issues of not just the big ticket items, okay, but simple things like were their human resource practices even valid? I think it will help going forward.
Okay, yeah. but within the milieu of the context of being sensitive and to the point or barrier of being insensitive or being sensitive, how should we measure comments made by, let's say, men of God or those who are the heart of the matter, knowing that the issue, as you said, is a social issue? Indeed, I know two people who have lost their jobs from the collapse of the banks. So everybody is affected one way or the other. You may be talking about an issue and thinking you're preaching, but you're talking about somebody's livelihood which has gone down the drain. How should we be able to do the inordinate termination?
Yes, you see, that is, well, my brother here talks about context. So in one vein, maybe you say, well, it's a preaching sermon. It's a sermon that is being preached in church. But you see, generally, I think that we should also realize our role as Christians. As a Christian, you are the light of the world. Uprightness, morality, you know, are things that we look up to. In fact, we have been talking, the church has been preaching against things like corruption and other vices that go on. That preaching goes against everybody else in the society, isn't it? So I'm saying that, so if there are problems and it involves men of God, are we saying that we shouldn't talk about them because they are men of God? I don't think that when the Bible talks about, and that's the favorite verse that they use, touch not my anointed. But the Bible also said that in a context. Because you see, men of God, if they restrict themselves to be men of God, they may not be bank board chairmen and things like that. You understand?
Why not?
I am saying that, why? We know the calling and what is, go and fish out for men. Okay? They say, oh, make you fishers of men. So if you want to branch off and also go into business, you must be able to stand the stones that people will hurl at you in that context. I have always said that anytime I'm insulted as a politician, I don't mind because I have elected to put myself in the public space.
Yeah.
So when you elect to put yourself outside your operational area, the collateral damage that comes with it, you must be prepared for it. It is no longer an issue of he is a man of God, so don't talk about what has gone wrong. Or he's a Christian, so don't talk about what has gone wrong. We are also advocating that Christians should lead the society so that we have uprightness and morality. So we are saying that, look, something has gone wrong. It's so happened that a reverend minister was chairman of the board. We are saying that let's interrogate the board and see whether he did the right thing or not. And I don't think that people should be silenced from also asking questions. It is important we ask questions. If we don't ask questions, we don't find answers. So I agree with him. Even beyond this issue of I'm the nominal chairman, I'm an executive, whatever, we should go deep and find out what went wrong. Were processes followed? Was the law followed to the letter? Did people deliberately divert? All these things are there.
It's only through the Inquisition.
It's through the Inquisition. So when virtually it's beginning to sound like you are gagging people from making comments or interrogating, I think that we must take a second look at it. I don't agree entirely that because I am a Christian and a Christian brother is in trouble, I cannot ask what happened. In actual fact, I have been to church where people have been called to the front and whatever they did wrong was said to the whole congregation to hear, and a decision had been taken. You understand? Sometimes some are excommunicated and things like that. So it's the same thing anyway. But this time, because we are a secular state, you know, it is a secular leadership that is taking action. So it's about the same thing.
Okay.
It's about the same thing. So I think that we should put these things in proper perspectives. That yes, Reverend Otabel is a pastor, a man of God, but we are also saying that when a man of God is in the public space, it doesn't land in anybody's mouth to say you cannot interrogate action that he has taken.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it wasn't a church. It was in a bank.
But it was in a bank. It was in a bank.
So he leaves himself.
Open to the collateral.
Okay, so now let's move on to an issue which has been raging on for the last 48 hours, and it's about the building of a national cathedral. The source or the funding will not be coming from the government of Ghana, but the government of Ghana has to prepare a place.
Unencumbered land, I hear. That's the word they use. Unencumbered land.
The government of Ghana has to prepare an encumbered land.
Unencumbered. Land that is not encumbered by any challenges.
Right. So it also involved clearing of existing structures and, you know, putting together new structures for the occupants, apparently, who are judges. And in so doing, we've had a lot of public commentary. And already the Chief Justice is said, as being reported by the media, said to have apologized to the High Court judges who will be evicted from their official accommodation following the impending construction of the National Cathedral in Accra. So our perspective, in addition to what has been going on the last 36 hours, is it means that this apology is coming mindful of the fact that concerns may have been raised by the judges, as Samson Ayenini had said in his write-up in the first place.
Roland, I get very, very worried about these things because it tells me that, again, we are not even planning. Sincerely.
No. For us to plan to have a cathedral.
Well, we are not planning.
Just look at the cathedral. The design is by a renowned British Ghanaian architect, David Ajay.
Roland, first and foremost.
Sir.
Roland,
Sir.
First and
Sir
foremost.
David Ajay.
First and foremost, you know, in our constitution, we have a situation where it depicts Ghana as a secular state. You are aware. But then there are the various religious groups. One, for instance, the government aids the Muslims to go to Hajj. You know, so you cannot say that if the government chooses to help the Christian community get a cathedral, it is out of place. Maybe you never know what they'll be doing for somebody next. But you know what my problem is? I'm talking about planning because, you see, look at where you have your State House. State House. Opposite State House is the Accra International Conference Center. Then you have an Accra Sports Stadium. Even with this, the one here, the surgeons and the
college
surgeons, and then your Parliament House and all that. Anytime there's a national event, roads have to be closed. Inconveniences have to be cost citizens.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Roland, there's everything wrong with that. When we can have an alternative. Roland, in other places, monuments like this are moved to places where there is space. You have wonderful backpacking space. You have allied facilities that will service the place. Because you see, when you're putting up a national monument,
I don't get you. So we should go and cite it at Amasaman.
I don't.
Or Dodowa.
Listen, Roland. The people in
Kobodumasi.
The people in Kobodumasi, the people in Dodowa, the people in Pram Pram are also citizens of Ghana. So let me not look as though we are saying go and cite it in Afghanistan. I'm only saying that even our Parliament House, I remember there was a call to even move it to another location for convenience of everybody. I believe that first and foremost, we do not have a right, and I think if anybody went to court for an injunction, they may get it, to throw out appeal court judges and high court judges.
Why not?
To put up a state facility. And then we are using Ghana's money to go and rent apartments for them to live in. No. So you see, it defeats the idea. Wait. My brother, it defeats the idea, the whole idea of somebody saying that it is going to be wholly, government money is not going to be involved. Because even the land, do you know the value of the land in Adrich? And the kind of land they are talking about? Millions of dollars. So it is not only true that government is not putting anything. Government is even not putting fiscal cash, putting equity in there. I am not against, like I said, government aiding the project to take off. But I am saying that, can we take a second look? We have plenty of land that government can acquire. Going to a national cathedral for a function is like a pilgrimage, Roland. There may be 10,000 people may want to go there and witness something. Are we planning towards that? And if 10,000 people want to come to the rich enclave at one go with vehicles and allied things, are we not going to have inconvenience in that whole enclave? Should something go wrong? Evacuation. Roland, let's look at these things properly.
Well, you've become a fire service.
It is not fire service, please. Even Kotoka International Airport, even though we are expanding, remember that we are even thinking of building a totally new airport off somewhere because of all these things I'm talking about. So really, Roland, I am not against the cathedral project, but I think that we can also take our time and site it somewhere. That will add to the beauty of the city or the outskirts of the city, because it also encourages lands in those areas to get more value, and then we can do the right things that we have to do. It will facilitate building of new roads. It will do many other things. I find this move away and let me put a cathedral as a lazy man's approach to solving or providing a very good facility.
Okay, but we also know that as far as what the communication has been,
why do you even think that
the judicial service, as part of its own residential development program, had provided its staff with temporary accommodation at the expense of the developer for the period of the construction of the complex, and so the ongoing projects.
Roland.
And government is also not wasting money on renting expensive alternative accommodation for the judges.
Roland,
okay. The state is not burying the cost at all. This is at the expense of the developer.
Roland, it is not true. Take it from me. When a developer is taking cost, it goes into the project cost. I am saying that at the close of the day, no developer would waste.
They put it in the quantity.
They put it, yes. So nobody should deceive us. We are too much away. Some of us understand these things too much for anybody to come and use this lame duck excuse to explain the situation away. I think that the call of Ghanaians should be heeded. I believe that Ghanaians believe that we do not need to throw our high court of appeal and high court judges out of their buildings for this cathedral. The cathedral is not going to be built tomorrow. It can be moved to a better location where there is space for parking, there is space for allied facilities. There should be open door space for maybe some national events, so that we will save our stadium and conference center and state house from all these crusades and things that people are doing. If we are getting a national cathedral, we should get a cathedral that can cater for many other things, and we should do it properly and stop this.
Well, the cathedral is also going to be used for conference. Let me just give you some education.
Yeah, so I'm saying
it's also going to be used for conferencing.
The more reason why we should cite it.
Exhibitions.
Yes. The more reason why it should go
many other things.
Yes. The more reason why it should
be a museum.
The more reason.
You don't know that.
Listen, I know. The more reason why we should cite it somewhere.
Sir David J.
Listen, the more reason why we should cite it somewhere where we can conveniently cater for all this. I'm saying that look, recently we had our international, and I'm happy if we had an International Association of Lions Clubs convention. Do you know the number of Lions Club members? We're about 30,000 in one space in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas?
Yes, the whole city
they
was
had a whole
over.
Convention or a dome for it.
No, yeah, Las Vegas has been structured as an entertainment center. So
it's a chilling.
Yeah, but I'm saying that huge facilities. Yes, we can have that. But this space that we are squeezing it into, and the inconveniences that it will bring to all of us, it means that the day on a weekday, if the cathedral has to host a major function, people get to work time or they may close the roads.
Don't worry, you don't live here.
No,
you
please. I come to work here. So Roland, let's look at. I believe that nobody is against the cathedral per se, but let's look at a better way of doing it. And I believe that relocating to a more spacious place where the inconveniences would be helpful.
But it looks like government is adamant. The president is adamant, really. You just have to. You just have to monitor the social media handles of government communicators, people I know who work at the communication bureau of the presidency, and you get to find out that's it's unwavering. It looks like government doesn't want to listen.
Why do you want? I don't like your use of word. The president is adamant. I think this president has shown himself to be a very listening president.
I'm not saying the president is always adamant. I'm saying that on this matter, the president looks like he's adamant.
And Roland, first and foremost, let's take it from first principles. Do we agree or we don't agree that there should be a national cathedral? I think that the consensus of opinion is that it is okay to have a national cathedral. Even though we are a secular state, after all, we have a very beautiful mosque that has been designated as a national mosque here. Very, very beautiful one at Kaukudi Junction. Very beautiful.
The Turkish-funded mosque.
Yes. Okay. Are we an Islamic state?
No, but I've made that point. I've made that point.
I am also just
making that point.
My point. You have alluded to the fact that government supports Hajj. Okay, and all of this. Sure. This country is 70% Christian, essentially. So if there is going to be a national cathedral, and it is not something that does not happen. It happens everywhere. In America, when they were planning from the start, you use the word planning. When they were doing out the design for Washington, D.C., a space was allocated for a national cathedral. That is where they will send, what's the name? No. McCain.
McCain, yeah.
All right. So when you go to London, the Church of England is synonymous with England. Okay, so there's a place where how do they call it? I don't even remember now. So it is not in Nigeria. You will find they have one. Okay, they have a national mosque. They have a national cathedral. It is not out of context.
Yeah.
It happens in several jurisdictions. Government has decided that it will aid the Christian community to do this. And government's commitment is that we will give you unencumbered land, so you can raise your funds and build a national cathedral. Roland, even if we went to Kobodumasi, my hometown, to do it, we would still have to pay. Government would still have to pay for some money.
No problem.
Even if we went to Krobodumasi.
No problem.
Okay. But this is the national capital. I think it makes sense that it should be located in the national capital. It does make sense. It is the rational thing to do.
And you're saying that the national capital is only restricted within the precinct of where we have huge or massive buildings, for example, he's raising concerns about massive congestion as far as human vehicular traffic would be.
I am coming to that point. He asked, can we do it somewhere? I said, let's do it in Krobodumasi. I said, yes. Even in Krobodumasi, we will still have to pay, government will still have to pay compensation.
No problem.
Okay. But it makes sense that if you are doing something that is of a national character, you certainly will do it in the national capital. Okay. Number 2, location. Yes. So, where shall we take it? I think that there is a certain government area. Okay. You might disagree with me. There is a certain government area. I think it makes sense that all the ministries and all the government offices are located in the same area.
It makes sense how? I don't understand. By whose determination?
Oh, to facilitate work.
Or just the aesthetics of it? It's beautiful to have the Parliament House, I think the conference center.
Again, all of us have opportunity to travel a little. When you go, there are government areas. When you go to every planned city, you will find a certain government area.
But you also agree with me that now, when you go, the thinking is when you travel out.
Let's redevelop outside within
people,
those precincts.
People, yes. It's part of the decongestion plan.
You are talking about congestion and all of this. We manage it every day. You know, I think that the whether you take it here or there will always be some amount of congestion. But government selected to have it here.
And the people are raising issues with it.
Well, as for issues, Roland, if we decide to take it to Amasaman, some issues will be raised.
Really? So government doesn't care. But let's go to the people. The people on social media, they are raising some concerns. I'll read a couple of those messages. And you will be amazed at some of the comments that, for example, Prince Sline, I don't know whether that's his real name, because social media, and everybody's entitled to take an alliance. And so we have lands finished for Ghana or what? Why do you have to do demolition before building a cathedral? Just waste of resources. I'm sure this man is a voter. Robin Dade, we are confused and can't determine our priority as a country. What's wrong with our upbringing? The schools we went to, our heads and the common sense taught us by our parents.
What does this mean?
I don't know. You can interpret it
What
yourself.
does it mean?
Now let's go to the next one. And Eric Hasselbach Ofori, really looks like great Scandinavian name, says no school buildings for free SHS and his nonsense cathedral. Ghana pa. This MPP government is losing focus. So who is misleading the president? You can see the emoji there, expressing the emotion of the person.
Nobody is building a cathedral. Government money is not going to build a cathedral.
Lambon Abubakar, what is wrong with our leaders? Millions of Ghanaians still lack basic school amenities, and they are wasting this huge amount on a project that will not benefit us in any way.
I disagree.
I wonder if our leaders really studied Maslow hierarchy of needs. I did study that back in undergraduate school, let's say, you know, you can relate to that. I think I had an interview. You told me about Maslow hierarchy of needs. You were at the end.
I don't know. I have read about it, but I don't remember the interview.
Oh, I used to interview back in the day a lot. Okay.
Yeah, but you see, first and foremost, it's important to where are all of these things coming from? Look,
social media.
Roland.
You have a lot of supporters on social media. You know that.
Roland.
Let me read this one from Melody Melba Goba. Says, I'm tired of running around looking for oxygen when casualties are brought. I'm tired of using torchlight to search for a vein just because the bulbs are not working. I'm tired of bending so low just to work on a patient when an adjustable bed could solve it. Go to London. I'm tired of trying to ignore provocation from patients' relatives because they feel their patients deserve a better bed and not the one with the torn mattress. I'm tired of having to convince a relative to get a private vehicle to transport their patient with a fracture to the orthopedic hospital because there's no ambulance. I'm tired of having to ration supplies because we don't have much. But a cathedral is more important? I don't know. What do you think?
Roland, first and foremost, let it be clear to all and sundry that a cathedral is not at the cost of government. Whether we build,
couldn't we have rallied the churches?
Whether
that the cost of the cathedral is $5 million as a result of that. Why don't you use that to perhaps provide ambulances for our country? That's more like the church, the charges that will be given to the church to do good things for our society.
In this country, some of the best buildings have been churches and mosques. I was coming from Adan this weekend. In villages and in small villages and towns, you will find out that the mosque or the church is better than where the people live.
Do you know we're going to build a convention center or some kind of a dome at the trade fair site? You know that?
Roland, I am saying that if we are saying this, then let us not build an international conference center.
Do you know?
Say that.
And have our conferences
hold on. Yeah, so because we haven't provided all the mattresses.
But we already have a conference center, so let's not build a church.
I am saying that if that is the argument, then let's not build an international conference center. Let's not even build a sports stadium because we have not provided for hospitals.
The cathedral, what will it be used for?
The cathedral is not a government project. The cathedral is not. Let me emphasize, the cathedral is not a government project.
Who is mooting the idea then? A religious leader? Who is that?
Whether it is a religious leader
but
or
you say it's not a government project.
It is not a government
then
project.
Who is mooting that idea?
It is not.
Government is spearheading it.
It's okay.
Who paid for the design? Was it free?
I am not sure. They are saying they are
not sure.
Hold on, yeah.
Sir David Ajay's design.
Who says he couldn't even do it for free?
Okay, he did it for free.
I am not saying that.
Who commissioned him to do it for free?
I am not saying that. There's a coordinating group that is doing this.
Yeah.
Government, I am not here sitting and saying that government will not spend 1 cent. We are all talking about land and rate. It does cost money. But you see, I think it is disingenuous for anybody to say because we are building a national cathedral, then there will be no ambulance. They are not mutually exclusive. Look, even if we don't build the national ambulance, there are still challenges with.
That's not a good response from your top politician. I think that as a marketing communication person, I would tell you shouldn't be giving those responses. It's not a good response.
This lady, if he said,
it's not a good response.
I also disagree with her. If you say, I also have a hospital background. In fact, from here, I'm going to the hospital because I need to do a little procedure on my hand.
I know you very well, so.
Okay. But I don't want us to mix the issues. Let us state
the people are saying it shouldn't be our priority, whether private or government. If government is the one that is leading this charge, if you can rally or pull resources from the churches, then those resources should go for more important things.
If so then let us make a direct appeal to the churches that the churches should not build any more.
Well, government is already making a direct appeal to the churches, so that outcome or output.
Which one?
Pulling the resources for them to build a cathedral.
So let's tell the churches let them not build any more meeting places. Let them not build any more mosque.
We're building a dome, for God's sake.
Which one?
The cathedral is a dome. It's a big place.
So I am saying that if government is doing something and people want to say that this one, it is government expenditure, they shouldn't do it. I can completely agree. But the church is doing something, and because of this, we are saying that no. If government wants to do something, if it came out that government wants to do something, and look, in this country, government wanted to build a presidential palace. There was so much hue and cry. Government wanted to buy an official plane. There was so much hue and cry. So I am saying, I am saying that the requirements for government in various sectors will always be there. Okay? The requirements for government in various sectors will always be there. Shall we buy a plane or shall we buy an ambulance?
What do you think?
Oh, I think that it should be both.
Should buy a plane and ambulance at the same time?
It shouldn't be mutually exclusive.
No. It should be mutually exclusive. Ambulance should be mutually exclusive.
Okay, so Roland, what you are saying effectively is that let's sell all the planes we have so that we can...
The cathedral, how much is it going to cost?
I don't know.
Okay, but this is the information I have and the communication I have. Yeah. Government's participation and commitment is only limited to 2 items.
Yes.
That is the leadership and then also the unencumbered land.
Yes.
I love the way you stress on the unencumbered land. The people are saying it's not necessary.
Listen.
If government is showing leadership to pool resources, the government should show that leadership, pool the resources from the churches and use for something other than the cathedral. That's what they're saying.
Roland. I think that you can lead you doesn't have to be the president. You can lead the process. Tell all the churches and tell all the mosques they should stop building all the mosques because we will need the money to do something. I mean,
that's not a fair response.
It is a very fair response. It is a very fair response. You are the first person who is saying that government's bit
commitment
is to,
it's only
is
limited
to provide
to leadership and
to provide
land.
unencumbered land.
So who own it?
It is the churches.
Okay.
Roland.
Yes, sir.
But you see, even to say this, Roland, I will say without equivocation, 40% of healthcare in this country is provided by the faith-based organizations. 40%.
So government should show leadership, pool resources, and make sure that we pump back into those places that we need.
So we shouldn't build.
My government can pull resources from churches. Yes, sir.
I think that you see, we should understand that first and foremost, like I keep saying, constitutional framework says Ghana is a secular state. That's number one. So every citizen, irrespective of where they belong, have a duty to either agree or disagree with this project. It's within their rights completely. And so if somebody feels strongly that, look, whatever equity government is putting in, they would rather they put that equity and energy into provision of other things, right? I don't have any problem. Indeed, the leadership and the resources that government is putting in, I believe that the churches, even left on their own, should be able to construct a cathedral. Because if you do a capital account of the church, the kind of church buildings that we have across the country, they huge investments by the churches themselves.
Yeah.
So as for me,
you said churches themselves.
Yes.
The people pump the money into the churches.
Yeah, but I'm saying that yes, that one you
Roland,
subscribe.
do you have a problem about church buildings
you subscribe.
and all of this?
You subscribe to be a member of a congregation. So when you go and you choose to put your money there, that's your business. But I'm saying that people have a right also to say that, look, even for us, the little investment or whatever government wants to put in, divert it and put it somewhere else. It is entirely within their right. 2, I am saying that you see, the leadership that government must show must be leadership that will kneel to the generality of all of us as citizens. And I'm saying that for me as a citizen, I am worried about the inconveniences that this project cited in the rich enclave will cause us.
You don't live here. You live.
Please, Roland, I work here. Sometimes you are about to go on a certain, and then suddenly you are told the road has been blocked because some function is happening somewhere there. You may be going for an interview. You may be going for many other things. So I am thinking that one, for many people, it is not a priority. Okay? It's a decision. I mean, it is a right, their right to think about. I have no problem whatsoever. If government wants to aid every bit of religious sect, really, they are all Ghanaians. But I am saying that let's do it within the so that let's not inconvenience other people.
Let's talk about
let's not inconvenience other people.
Let's talk about your party.
May not be interested in this project.
I
wanted to. I thought we've ended the conversation. Let's talk about the NDC.
No, so really,
what are you having on Saturday?
Well, all being equal, we'll have regional congresses as many places as possible, save for
across the country.
Yes, save for a few places where other
you're contesting for
regional secretary,
Volta region,
yeah,
NDC.
Yeah.
And the chairmanship, the national executive slot will be coming up when?
After we are finished, I think it will be coming around end of September, October.
October.
In fact, already they've started.
Okay, so we have some individuals here on the front page of the Daily Guide. Betty Moldy Drisu. She currently is
The first vice chairman.
Okay. And then we have Samuel Ofusoampo, who currently is
The director of elections and first vice chairman.
he supervised the last election.
Yes.
That's when the NDC lost, 2016. But Benjamin
Are you asking?
Kumbo.
No, Roland is going to be mischievous. Don't mind.
Are you asking?
Benjamin Kumbo doesn't have a position currently.
Well,
He's in the fray.
Chairmanship.
Yeah, he did
Very
indicate.
solid guy.
He did indicate that he was coming, but I don't know whether he had picked.
No,
very
they've
solid
picked
guy.
him. But it looks
Well,
quite
but
interesting.
Kwesi
has denied.
So,
yes,
yeah.
so
But
that's
it looks like I know Ambassador Dano Abudakpi is in there
Yes.
too, and a few other.
Are you conflicted because you are contesting the Saturday one? So.
No, I'm not.
But how do you
In fact,
how do you think these contests will shape the NDC?
The NDC for now is looking solid by the day, and I'm excited even at the names that are popping up for national chairman, because when you go back to our branches, we have medical doctors, engineers, and things who are branch executives. If you come to our constituency election, it was fantastic. You had very, very, very solid guys who had offered themselves, business people, lawyers, and things, constituency doctors, constituency chairmen. And at the region, if you cast your eyes around, you see many lawyers, for instance, trying to be regional secretary in about 4 or 5 regions, and then many other professionals in there. I am encouraged that we are building a solid team. We hope that the delegates will understand it from that point and choose capable and solid people to reorganize the party and lead us to victory 2020.
I wanted to comment solidarity. Just a minute.
I can wish my friend well.
Yeah, Judge.
And I also, I hold myself as the ultimate Democrat. Nobody wants to build a one-party state. It's
Why
not
is it turning out to be like a one-party state?
It's not the way to go. I think that to have a strong opposition is needful for the advancement of democracy. So it is okay as far as I'm concerned. I would want to have a good opposition. Maybe in 3, 4, 5 elections away from now, they will have opportunity to come back into government. But that's okay.
3, 4 decades.
3, 4, 5 elections away. Okay.
Well, Emmanuel Chiramantinge Jako is a member of parliament for the Yawasu West Wagon constituency, has been here. Good morning to you. And then also George Lowe. He is contesting for the position of secretary this weekend for the NDC Volta region. So for you delegates, perhaps, he's also a legal practitioner, by the way. But I thank you, gentlemen, for passing through the studio this morning. We have to move on. But let me just read this question, then we'll go on to next. He said, hey, so Ghanaians are kicking against the National Cathedral. And follows with a question, are we serious? Have we forgotten that a great nation like America has on its currency the almighty dollar?
In God we trust.
In God we trust.
In God we trust.
All right.
So the dollars remain.